Yes, ladies and gentlemen, episode 111 of the Journey's anime titled Moon and Lillie, a reunion on the Tundra just dropped, and this is a wrap of the Sun and Moon storyline where Lillie, Gladion, and Lusamine are looking for their father Mohn. How will this go? Let's find out. Ash, Goh, and Chloe head down to the Crown Tundra to try and find out more information about a mysterious Pokemon seen by Freezington's mayor. When they get there, he describes it as a quick white and yellow thing, and that he saw it inside of a blizzard. Meanwhile, Lillie, Lusamine, and Gladion are still inside their ship looking for their father. Lillie's inside playing the mother and daughter soundtrack from the Sun and Moon games on the piano, and as some people have mentioned, the piano animation here mimics the actual notes that it requires to play the song. That's pretty cool, and the type of quality and the attention to detail that stays throughout this entire episode. As our heroes are staying over in the Freezington mayor's house as a blizzard that comes out of nowhere is going hard, the Aether family's caught off guard when the same blizzard comes out of nowhere and they're struggling, trudging through the snow. Eventually, they decide to camp in this brand new invention, which is basically the Hoi Poi capsule from Dragon Ball, where she throws a little small item and it turns into a giant tent with like AC and everything probably. The next day, the blizzard stops, so the Aether family continues to follow Magnolia's light, which leads them to a house. Lillie runs to the house, and from the outside, she can hear the same music that she was playing earlier in the ship, and from inside comes Mohn. He looks disheveled, but he's still recognizable. But the shocker, he doesn't recognize his old family. He doesn't recognize his old partner Pokemon either. Not only that, but once inside, apparently he has another daughter named Lillie. However, it turns out this Lillie is really just a shiny Nihilego. But for Mohn, he sees it as a Lillie, the actual person. Before Gladion can do anything rash, however, when the family finds out, Lusamine stops Gladion from attacking Nihilego, since Mohn sees it as his daughter, and if Gladion attacked, that would look terrible. Instead, they decide to look around at the house for clues and ways to find out on why he thinks the way he does. This moment here is especially creepy. There was always a theory that Lusamine dressed Lillie based on her obsession with Nihilego in the games. And in the anime, that wasn't the case. However, to see the opposite happening here, where Nihilego is dressed as Lillie, was kind of a crazy reversal to watch. Meanwhile, Ash, Goh, and Chloe are now looking for that Pokemon described by Freezington's mayor, when Pikachu picks up the scent of Lillie and goes towards the same house. As Lillie and Gladion are investigating the house, the tension is palpable. It's helped tremendously by Hayashi's score here. You notice pretty early on that the house has no mirrors or any ways to see reflections. Even the windows have dirt covering them. Nihilego then appears behind Lillie when she begins playing the piano and realizes that this is the Lillie that Mohn had been calling out in Ultra Space when he fell through. Gladion goes to the bathroom and notices that all of the mirrors in the house have been removed. And Lillie opens up the drawer where she sees that not only is Mohn's old clothes there with the Aether Paradise badge, but also a mirror. She wonders why Nihilego hid the mirror. That's when Nihilego comes towards her to attack. However, out of nowhere comes Ash, and we get this amazing looking Iron Tail sequence. The animation here is top notch. Nihilego escapes, but Ash meets Gladion, and Goh and Chloe meet Lillie and Gladion for the first time. It was also good to see Goh remember Lillie's story from the letter from the first time he went to Alola. This entire sequence is awesome, but the one strange thing here is just how quickly Lillie comes to a conclusion for everything. She sees the mirror and immediately figures out what's going on? How does she know that it was Nihilego that hid the mirrors? She didn't investigate the other rooms that had the mirrors missing. That was Gladion. I'm not saying that's bad, but you can kinda see the writers having to cut the story a bit short to tell a better narrative. Because she comes to a pretty illogical conclusion really quickly, even though at the end, she turns out to be right. In the other room, Lusamine shows Mohn the image of the family, but he still doesn't recognize it. That's when Lusamine is about to tell him that his daughter is really an Ultra Beast, but before she can, Nihilego attacks her in order to prevent it. She is, however, then saved by Gladion. Zoroark then pins Nihilego to the floor before Lillie arrives and thanks Nihilego for saving her father. Ash, Goh, and Chloe also arrive with the clothes and the mirror from the piano room. They take a seat to the side, and that's the end of the episode for them, as the rest of the episode is basically focused on the family dynamic. However, I did notice that Ash just pulled up on a seat and said, "Let me get a front row seat to this family drama." I thought that was hilarious. the family begins explaining to Mohn what most likely happened. That after the accident with the Ultra Wormhole that sent him to Ultra Space, he was saved by Nihilego and brought back. However, instead of being brought back in Alola, he was brought back to the Crown Tundra, where they began living together as daughter and father, as Nihilego looked through Mohn's memory and for some reason wanted to be like Mohn's daughters, so it made it seem to Mohn like it was Lillie. Here, we also get to see the story from Nihilego's perspective in the flashback, which I thought was fascinating. Now, if you read the Pokédex entry of Nihilego, you can see it talk about aspects of Nihilego from this episode. In its Moon Pokédex entry, it said that it's unclear whether this Pokemon is sentient or not, but sometimes it can be observed behaving like a young girl. But it's also categorized as the parasite Pokemon for a good reason. It can seemingly take over your subconscious and make you see and believe things that don't exist. So, while yes, Nihilego did save Mohn and it probably had a good reason, it was also basically manipulating his emotions. Like I said, there's a reason, but that's still the dichotomy of insanity there. Now, similar to earlier when I complained about it, they get to the conclusion that because Nihilego was hiding the mirrors, it must mean that if Mohn sees his reflection, it would restore his memory. Which again, is a very illogical conclusion. And again, they end up being right, but I'm just saying, you could see the cracks of the story a little bit there. But like I said, it does work, and after he sees his own reflection, he remembers everything. He remembers all of their name, which leads to an emotional reunion, and Nihilego looks like it's about to leave since it can't stay with the family any longer when Lillie stops it. She and Mohn thank it for saving him, and they ask it to be a part of her family. And then Nihilego accepts, going into the Beast Ball. The episode ends with a family picture of their now new family all together again. This part here is super emotional, but we also get some amazing movie level shading. The art and animation here just look amazing, just the best. Now, question, now that they've caught Nihilego too, is this the strongest family in the world? Because they have 3 legendary Pokemon and 2 of them are shiny. That is just unfair. All jokes aside though, this is an amazing episode. This basically wraps up the main final story of Sun and Moon that was left, and it does it in both dramatic and emotional fashion. It wraps up not only the search for Mohn, but it brings everything together with the family full circle, as now, even the Pokemon that caused Lillie to lose her ability to touch other Pokemon is now a part of her family. I talked about the shading earlier in that final scene, but even throughout the entire episode, you can just see the level of detail on everything is just so much better. And on top of that, the audio choices here for this episode, where we get to hear some old Sun and Moon tracks, as well as in moments where there's dramatic things happening, the audio really helps it out. That was wonderful too. This episode's really special and I think everyone involved knew it. This is a 10 out of 10 episode. If you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Go check it out. The next episode is another Alola episode. This time, Ash is going to be participating in a battle royale against Gladion, Kiawe, and Kukui. Will the champion of Alola be able to prevail? I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. But anyways, that is it from our review of episode 111 of the Journeys anime. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe. In the comments, let me know your thoughts on this wonderful episode. You can follow me on Twitter at PdGaming, and that is it. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.